Subscriptions are out of control. 84% of music in the United States is already consumed via streaming, and physical formats barely account for a quarter.
In an industry that is increasingly dominated by streaming, companies like Spotify, Apple, and YouTube are revolutionizing the way we consume music.
As a result, in 2024, Apple Music services generated billion-dollar figures, almost 5 times more than in 2015.
Most people still consider Apple a products company, but lately, their fastest growing revenue stream is their $24 billion subscriptions unit, which grew 14% last year.
Even today, renting a gaming PC can cost up to 3 times its price over 5 years without generating ownership.
One of their computers at $259 per month rental would cost you approximately $15,540 for a little over $2,000 worth of parts.
Likewise, the Federal Trade Commission sued Amazon in 2023 for obstructing subscription cancellations.
The Federal Trade Commission says the online retail giant duped people into signing up for the service and then made it extremely tough to cancel.
On the other hand, in 2022, BMW began charging a monthly subscription to activate seat heating that was already installed in the car.
In 2022, BMW tried locking heated seats in their new vehicles behind a subscription paywall for $18 a month.
All of this has made Americans feel that you can no longer buy something, but can only rent it for a limited time. So, why subscriptions are out of control? In the 80s or 90s, buying music meant buying a vinyl record and a record player. In the 70s, home record players became popular thanks to the success of various musical groups of the time. For example, the Beatles managed to sell more than 20 million copies of some of their most successful albums worldwide. This made owning vinyl records something common in many households. However, that began to change in the late 90s and early 2000s with the arrival of the internet. For example, Spotify was launched in 2008, and by 2022, it already had millions of paid subscribers worldwide.
Spotify just reached a major milestone. They are the first music streaming service to pass more than 200 million paid subscribers.
Today, the average consumer manages between 10 and 15 active automatic payments at the same time, reflecting constant fragmentation of monthly spending. In addition, global spending in the access-based digital economy has grown by more than 320% since 2012. This increase shows that the model stopped being an experimental alternative and became consolidated as a structural norm within modern consumption. At the same time, about 68% of technology companies prioritize recurring revenue in their financial reports. This confirms that the system no longer revolves around selling products, but around keeping customers active.
Small and big tech companies alike are transforming to a subscription business, moving from big, one-time upfront product sales to a recurring, renewable, and far more predictable subscription model instead.
The immediate consequence of this change is that what was once purchased only once now becomes a constant stream of payments. What seemed like an improvement in flexibility ended up altering the very structure of modern consumption. Thus, the subscription model stopped being optional and now dominates 70% of technology companies. As companies discovered the stability offered by recurring revenue, they began redesigning entire products under this logic. The incentive is no longer to sell more units, but to prolong customer retention for as long as possible. Profitability is now based on keeping subscriptions active, which on average generates nearly half again as much revenue as a one-time sale.
Neil and his colleagues found that companies earn as much as 200% more revenue thanks to inattentive subscribers.
This transformation responds to a clear reason: predictable revenue reduces financial volatility and increases companies' market valuation. In addition, behavioral finance studies show that 42% of consumers underestimate the total annual cost of their active subscriptions. The fragmentation into small monthly payments reduces the perception of accumulated spending. What seems affordable in the short term becomes a sustained burden in the long term. Furthermore, users are up to 4 times less likely to cancel when the charge is automatic. Automation eliminates the conscious moment of decision and turns payment into an almost invisible process for the consumer.
What the marketers and the corporations do is they count on a huge number of consumers forgetting that they subscribed, and they reap the benefits in a large amount of profit.
Consequently, the company maximizes revenue while the consumer loses visibility over their own budget. Over time, this dynamic generates a cumulative effect. For example, an average household may allocate more than 12% of its monthly digital spending to recurring services. Although each service may seem individually reasonable, the total sum erodes the capacity for savings and investment. Thus, continuous access replaces definitive acquisition and turns consumption into a permanent obligation.
Instead of selling you today and tomorrow and next week, they only need to convince you once, and the money keeps coming, a steady, predictable stream of revenue. Because each customer is so valuable, they can focus more on keeping them than doing anything and everything to get more.
As recurring payment becomes normalized, the psychological relationship with goods also changes. Traditionally, buying implied having full control over an object. Today, that control is limited for more than 89% of digital users. Ownership guaranteed autonomy of use, transfer, and indefinite preservation. In the digital environment, that relationship is redefined because access depends on external conditions that can change without prior notice. Currently, 7 out of 10 digital products are distributed under modifiable licenses. This implies that the rules of use can be updated unilaterally after the initial acquisition.
Subscriptions might lower the entry point and therefore feel manageable at first. Over time, they end up adding something far greater than we ever expected or anticipated to pay.
This means that the user pays but does not necessarily decide the future of the product. In addition, international surveys reveal that 55% of consumers are unaware of the legal limits associated with the digital goods they acquire. This lack of clarity generates an illusion of ownership. Many people believe they own something that they can actually only use under certain predefined rules. Likewise, digital entertainment consumption exceeds 80% of the total in several developed markets.
It seems like today, everything that we touch has a subscription. From the movies that we watch, the music we listen to, it's unavoidable that we are going to be paying some kind of monthly fee. And the problem is, it's starting to leach off of the internet and into the real world.
The experience replaces the physical object, and immediate availability replaces material possession. The value is no longer in owning something physical, but in paying to use it for a period of time. And today, this model moves more than $1 trillion a year in digital services. This change even alters the way people build cultural and technological heritage. Before, objects could be resold, inherited, or preserved for decades. Now, access depends on servers, contracts, and constant updates. This means ownership ceases to be absolute and instead depends on changing terms that 67% of users do not fully control.
Sometimes that means features get added, features get taken away without the consumer's consent. It even gets to whether the device continues to operate at all.
As this logic expands, visible tensions also emerge. Complaints related to automatic renewals have grown by more than 30% in recent years, according to consumer protection agencies. This increase reflects a growing perception of imbalance between companies and users. Studies indicate that canceling a service can take twice as many steps as activating it, and that on 4 out of 10 platforms, there are additional obstacles to doing so. This difference not only increases involuntary retention, but also reveals an architecture designed to prioritize retention. The more complex it is to leave, the greater the likelihood of continuing to pay.
An FTC-backed study found that 81% of subscription services used automatic renewal tactics, 70% failed to clearly explain how to cancel, and 67% did not clearly disclose when users needed to cancel to avoid being charged again.
In addition, behavioral analyses show that a significant portion of consumers maintain at least one subscription they do not actively use. This proportion even exceeds 35% in certain markets. The model is sustained both by constant use and by occasional forgetfulness. However, people have already begun to realize these deceptive strategies. In certain specialized physical niches, sales increase by around 3 million additional units each year despite digital dominance. For example, in 2023, vinyl sales revenue in the United States exceeded $1.4 billion. Even companies use certain strategies to avoid subscription cancellations. For example, cloud storage subscriptions.
Truly owning software has become outdated. You're paying a recurring fee for your apps and your OS, your music, your business tools, all of it. With that recurring fee, there's a quiet warning. Stop paying and everything you've uploaded will be gone.
At the same time, public debate over digital rights, contractual transparency, and ease of cancellation is growing. The number of legislative initiatives related to subscription regulations has increased in recent years across different jurisdictions. For example, in the United States, several states have passed laws requiring companies to facilitate online cancellation and to notify users before renewing automatic charges. At the same time, more than 5 out of 10 consumers say they have less control over their recurring expenses. What began as a convenient innovation ended up raising a structural question about economic freedom and ownership in the digital age. Ultimately, subscriptions not only change the way we pay, but also the way we understand what truly belongs to us.
Companies took something that consumers used to buy once and instead asked them to pay continuously for access.
Subscriptions replaced ownership, and thus monthly payments took the lead in companies. Moreover, over time, the effect of those payments becomes increasingly evident. It is estimated that urban households spend on average more than $1,800 per year on recurring digital services. This spending does not generate owned assets, but rather maintains conditional access. At the same time, 6 out of 8 users admit that they could not list all their subscriptions without checking their bank account. Therefore, the question is no longer only whether subscriptions are convenient, but what we lose when we no longer own anything.
At Economy Media, your opinion matters to us. Subscribe and let us know what you think in the comments below.